Let's feed our heads. Okay, now you might be wondering why Sartre would have imagined that the recognition of our essential freedom would lead to nausea, to feelings of absurdity and misery about the meaninglessness of life. Shouldn't he have thought instead that recognition is liberating? Why nausea when you can feel, however absurdly, pure bliss despite your external circumstances? And shouldn't he have thought that the fact that there is no given ego self, that's an opportunity for you to get to construct one on whatever model you like, within the limits, of course, of the physical and mental characteristics that you are born with, not characteristics of your consciousness, but the limiting factors or facticities like your IQ and your access to wealth at birth. Why not see that constructed ego self as an artistic creation that you work on throughout your life? Here I am. I create myself. I am a work of art that I work on throughout my life. Well, Sartre should have thought of it that way, I think. But the truth is, for all his brilliance, Sartre was pretty messed up due to some unresolved mommy issues that I won't go into here, but he wrote a partial autobiography called The Words, and that will make all of that stuff very clear if you read it. My take. Sartre really didn't grok how positive his philosophy was. Okay, one question that you might have. If you are self-creating, as Sartre argues, then what is authenticity? Traditionally, it was defined as being true to oneself, to this self that was a given. In the 1960s, hippies used to say, to speak about finding yourself, man, you got to find yourself, as though you were a lost sock. You are not a lost sock. So if there is no pre-existing self to find or be true to, what could authenticity possibly mean? Aren't we stuck back with Sartre's nausea and bad faith? Well, no. What authenticity really means is A, taking responsibility for oneself, and B, remaining true to that creation, to the creation, not to some previously existing and ordained and given self. You are the artist of yourself, and authenticity is artistic integrity. No, you say, I can't do that. I would compromise the self that I have been, that I am, and will be creating. As a cliche compromises a poem, as a stylistically inconsistent motif compromises a dance or a piece of music or a film. The fact that the self is not predefined for you, and that you are free to decide how you're going to feel and think and act, emphatically does not condemn you to a meaningless life. That's crazy. And why existentialists in the 20th century thought this, well, it's pretty batty. Quite the contrary. You create your own meaning. You create your own meaning. So that's one thing. that Sartre got wrong. Here's another. While you are not predetermined, you do operate, as I briefly mentioned, within a great many constraints on what you can create. Maybe your physical and intellectual endowments are such that however hard you might work at it, you will never be a principal dancer in a ballet company or win the field medal in mathematics. You can think of these biological constraints, your genetic inheritance, as like keys on a piano. You can't make the piano sound like a tuba, directly, perhaps, but you can play an astonishing variety and range of music on that piano, on the keys you were given. If you work at it, Sartre does acknowledge these limitations in BNN, in being in nothingness. And he has a term for them, facticity. But he doesn't seem to think that they matter very much. I think that they do matter quite a bit. But we're still, within those constraints, incredibly, incredibly free. Okay, another issue with Sartre. Sartre promises in Being in Nothingness to create in the future an existentialist ethics. But because he believed that life was fundamentally meaningless, and because he didn't recognize important facts about our facticity that have ethical implications, he was never able to do that. But that's a subject for a talk later in this series. All right. That's our wrap on existentialism. Now go off and feed your head.